Don't chase perfection immediately. Too often, we dream of massive changes, but overlook the power of small, consistent steps. The secret? Becoming just 1% better than yesterday. Have you ever felt stuck, overwhelmed by big goals, or frustrated when progress seems slow? If so, you're not alone. I know this because I've been there too. I used to struggle with achieving big goals. I'd set ambitious plans, only to feel lost and defeated when they didn't come together quickly. The pressure to succeed became a heavy weight, and giving up felt like the easiest option. But then I discovered a powerful truth. Success doesn't lie in leaps. It lies in the small steps we take each day. Recognizing and celebrating those tiny victories changed everything. In this video, I'll show you how to harness the 1% daily improvement method, inspired by Stoic philosophy. Together, we'll explore how small wins, steady progress, and enjoying the journey can transform your life. You'll learn how Stoic principles, like focusing on what you can control and embracing setbacks, can guide you toward lasting personal growth. Stay with me because the solutions we'll discuss aren't just practical, they're life-changing. And don't forget to share your own experiences in the comments. If you found a strategy that works, let others know. Your story could be the motivation someone else needs to take their first step today. 1. Recognize small wins. When we think of success, we often imagine grand achievements, landing the dream job, building a thriving business, or achieving a major life goal. But what if the secret to long-term success isn't in those big milestones, but in the small, often overlooked victories we achieve every day? Recognizing these small wins is more than just a feel-good exercise. It's a transformative habit that builds motivation, confidence, and a positive outlook on life. The act of acknowledging small accomplishments creates momentum. Every task you complete, no matter how minor, is a reminder that you are making progress. This sense of forward motion fuels motivation, encouraging you to keep going even when the road ahead feels long. And it's not just about ticking off tasks on a list. It's about seeing each effort as a step closer to the person you want to become. This perspective shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's improving, creating a mindset rooted in gratitude and self-encouragement. I remember a time when I was vying for a promotion that felt out of reach. It was easy to fixate on how far I still had to go, which only fueled my frustration and self-doubt. However, I decided to approach the situation differently. Instead of obsessing over the end goal, I began to notice the smaller victories along the way. I celebrated mastering a complex software program that improved my team's efficiency, even though no one applauded it. I acknowledged leading a successful project meeting, even if the senior management wasn't in the room. I took pride in delivering consistent, high-quality work, even when it seemed to go unnoticed. Recognizing these small wins shifted my focus and kept me motivated, even during the toughest moments. This mindset isn't just personal, it's universal. Imagine someone aiming to lose weight. If they only measure success by the number on the scale, every fluctuation can feel like a setback. But if they start celebrating daily victories, choosing a healthier meal, completing a workout, or simply drinking enough water, they see their progress in a whole new light. Each small win reinforces the belief that they are on the right path, making it easier to stay consistent. Stoic philosophy teaches us to value what we can control. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on finding joy in simple duties and small efforts. For the Stoics, acknowledging progress wasn't about seeking external validation, it was about internal alignment. When you recognize your own wins, you align with the Stoic principle of living intentionally, focusing on the steps you can take rather than the outcomes you cannot guarantee. This approach grounds you in the present, helping you build resilience and clarity. The practice of recognizing small wins isn't just a motivational tool. It's a way to reshape your mindset. When we focus on progress rather than perfection, we cultivate gratitude for our efforts and find the energy to keep moving forward. A Stoic would remind us that every step, no matter how small, is a movement toward excellence. By shifting your attention from the gaps to the gains, you not only build confidence, but also nurture a sustainable approach to self-improvement. Think about it. How often do we get trapped in self-criticism, dwelling on what we haven't achieved? That negativity drains energy and clouds judgment. But when you start noticing the small steps you're taking, you begin to see your journey in a new light. Instead of being overwhelmed by the destination, you embrace the process. Each small win becomes a beacon, guiding you forward with purpose and optimism. To bring this home, remember that recognizing small victories isn't about diminishing big dreams. It's about creating the foundation to achieve them. Whether it's writing one paragraph for a novel, preparing a single healthy meal, or simply showing up for yourself in a challenging moment, these efforts matter. They are the threads that weave the fabric of success. And as the Stoics remind us, it's the small, deliberate actions that shape a life of virtue and fulfillment. By training your mind to acknowledge progress, you build a wellspring of inner strength. The journey becomes less daunting, and the weight of expectation lifts. Recognizing small wins isn't just a strategy, it's a philosophy that empowers you to live intentionally, consistently, and with purpose. 2. Small steps, big gains. Big transformations often start with the smallest steps. We imagine success as a grand leap, a moment of breakthrough where everything changes. But in reality, success is the sum of consistent, small actions. Each seemingly insignificant step builds upon the last, and over time, these small efforts create something extraordinary. This is the essence of the 1% improvement rule, where steady progress leads to lasting results. The Stoics understood the power of small, deliberate actions. Seneca once wrote, "Well-being is attained by little and little, and nevertheless is no little thing itself." In this, he emphasized the importance of steady effort and incremental improvement. Growth doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't require perfection. Instead, it demands persistence and the courage to start, even when the progress feels slow. I remember a close friend of mine who was determined to run a marathon. At first, it seemed impossible. He hadn't exercised in years, and even jogging a mile left him gasping for air. He felt the weight of his goal looming over him, and doubt began to creep in. But instead of fixating on running 26 miles, he focused on running for 5 minutes a day. Slowly, 5 minutes turned into 10, then 15. He began enjoying the process, the feeling of his body growing stronger, the fresh air in the mornings, the rhythm of his breathing. Step by step, he built his endurance. A year later, he crossed the marathon finish line. His transformation wasn't sudden or dramatic. It was the result of countless small steps, repeated every day. This approach isn't just for marathon runners. Imagine someone struggling to save money. Instead of focusing on building a large savings account, they start by saving just $5 a day. Over time, those small amounts grow, creating a financial cushion and a sense of security. The principle applies to every area of life: fitness, learning, relationships, and even emotional growth. By focusing on manageable steps, you build the momentum to achieve more significant goals. Stoicism provides a blueprint for this philosophy. The Stoics remind us that we can only control our actions, not the outcomes. Epictetus taught that the key to progress lies in consistently practicing virtues, even in small ways. For example, showing kindness in a conversation, staying calm during a stressful moment, or being patient when faced with frustration. These small actions don't always feel impactful in the moment, but they cultivate strength and character over time. The key to mastering this mindset is to shift your focus from the results to the process. When my friend was training for his marathon, he didn't obsess over the finish line. Instead, he embraced each run as an opportunity to improve. In doing so, he found joy in the journey, and the outcome took care of itself. This idea ties closely to the Stoic concept of amor fati, or loving your fate. It's about embracing where you are and what you can do today, rather than being consumed by what you haven't yet achieved. Let's take this idea further with another example. Imagine someone who wants to improve their mental health. Instead of aiming to eliminate all stress overnight, they commit to small practices: journaling for 5 minutes, meditating for 10, or taking a walk in nature. These seemingly minor habits compound over time, bringing a sense of calm and clarity to their lives. The same principle applies to building skills. Reading a few pages daily or practicing a craft for just 15 minutes can lead to mastery over the years. What's most inspiring about this approach is that it empowers you to take control of your journey. You don't have to wait for perfect conditions or a grand opportunity to start improving. The Stoics believed in action, doing what you can with what you have, wherever you are. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do every act of your life as though it were the last act of your life." This perspective encourages us to make every step meaningful, no matter how small it may seem. The beauty of small steps is their accessibility. You don't need to be extraordinary to begin, you just need the willingness to try. And as you keep moving forward, those small efforts begin to shape a better, stronger version of yourself. Whether it's developing a skill, achieving a goal, or building emotional resilience, the path to greatness is paved with small, deliberate actions. So as you think about your journey, ask yourself, what's one small step you can take today? It might not feel monumental, but that's the point. Progress doesn't require perfection, it only requires starting. And when you commit to that, you're already winning. 3. Enjoy the process. We often measure success by the results, promotion, financial goals, or personal achievements. But what if the true reward lies not in the outcome, but in the journey itself? Embracing the process is more than a strategy for improvement. It's a mindset that brings purpose and peace. The steps you take, the challenges you face, and the moments of growth along the way are just as meaningful as the goal you aim to reach. Stoic philosophy encourages this perspective. Epictetus taught that the journey itself offers opportunities for growth and wisdom. By focusing on the process rather than the destination, you release yourself from unnecessary anxiety and discover fulfillment in the present moment. This shift doesn't just make the journey more enjoyable, it makes it transformative. I once knew an artist who exemplified this beautifully. He wasn't just painting to sell his work or gain recognition. For him, the magic was in the act of creation. Mixing colors, feeling the texture of the canvas, and watching a blank space transform into something vibrant brought him immense joy. He told me that even if a piece didn't turn out as expected, the time he spent immersed in the process was never wasted. That attitude not only kept him motivated, but also made his work more authentic. He created not to impress, but to express. This mindset is relevant for everyone, not just artists. Imagine a runner who finds peace in the rhythm of their strides, a writer who enjoys crafting each sentence, or a parent who embraces the simple joys of raising a child. By focusing on the experience, rather than rushing to the outcome, they create memories and satisfaction that no result can replace. Each moment becomes a source of fulfillment. When we tie this back to Stoic wisdom, the concept of amor fati, loving one's fate, teaches us to embrace every step of the journey, even the imperfect ones. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about living fully in the present, finding meaning in the actions of the day, and not being consumed by future worries. To enjoy the process is to accept where you are, trust in your efforts, and let go of the need to control what lies ahead. This principle is particularly useful in everyday situations. For example, imagine someone learning a new skill, like cooking. Instead of stressing about making a perfect dish, they focus on the act of chopping vegetables, smelling fresh herbs, and experimenting with flavors. The enjoyment comes not from perfection, but from the act of creating something. This mindset not only makes the process rewarding, but also builds confidence and creativity. The same is true for work. If you approach tasks with an appreciation for the effort and learning involved, rather than just the results, work becomes less about pressure and more about purpose. Whether it's leading a project, solving a complex problem, or collaborating with a team, each moment contributes to your growth and mastery. Stoicism offers practical tools to cultivate this mindset. One approach is to practice mindfulness, fully immersing yourself in the task at hand. Pay attention to the details, whether it's the way your pen moves across the page, the sound of keys clicking on a keyboard, or the satisfaction of completing a single step. By being present, you align your actions with your values, creating a sense of flow and fulfillment. Another Stoic practice is reflection. At the end of the day, take a moment to acknowledge the effort you put into the process, not just the results. Reflect on what you learned, how you grew, and what you enjoyed. This habit reinforces gratitude and keeps you focused on what truly matters. Embracing the process isn't about ignoring your goals, it's about recognizing that the path to those goals is where life happens. When you shift your perspective, you unlock the ability to find joy and meaning in even the smallest moments. Like the artist who savors every brushstroke, you too can find beauty in the journey. 4. Confidence from success. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's built piece by piece through every small achievement. Each victory, no matter how minor, strengthens the belief that you're capable of reaching your goals. It's not about waiting for a defining moment, but about recognizing the power of cumulative progress. This mindset doesn't just transform your actions, it reshapes how you see yourself. Stoicism emphasizes the role of self-trust in building confidence. Epictetus often taught that actions aligned with virtue reinforce our sense of self-worth. Every step taken, no matter how modest, confirms that we are capable of overcoming challenges and staying on the path to growth. In this, confidence becomes not a gift, but a skill, one nurtured by consistent effort. I remember someone I met at a public speaking club who embodied this idea perfectly. She wanted to improve her ability to speak in front of an audience. At first, even the thought of standing in front of a room filled her with dread. But instead of diving into a large, intimidating crowd, she began with a smaller, supportive audience, a group of close friends. Each time she spoke, her confidence grew. She moved on to slightly larger groups, presenting in front of peers at work, and then eventually addressing larger audiences. Over time, the fear gave way to ease, and the skills she once thought impossible became second nature. Every small win reinforced her belief in her ability, making the bigger challenges feel less daunting. This story mirrors experiences many of us can relate to. Picture yourself trying to learn a new skill, like playing the piano. At first, even the simplest melodies might feel clumsy and frustrating. But as you practice each small success, playing a piece without mistakes, mastering a difficult chord, builds your confidence. These moments prove to you that improvement is possible and that your efforts are paying off. Gradually, what once felt overwhelming starts to feel achievable, even natural. Stoicism teaches us to value this progression. Marcus Aurelius encouraged reflecting on our actions, reminding us that self-confidence grows through evidence of our progress. By focusing on what we've done well, we reinforce our capacity to continue improving. Confidence doesn't come from comparing ourselves to others or chasing perfection. It comes from appreciating how far we've come and recognizing our potential to go further. This idea is particularly powerful when faced with self-doubt. Imagine someone struggling to take the first step in their fitness journey. Instead of overwhelming themselves with visions of running marathons or lifting heavy weights, they start by walking for 10 minutes a day. Each walk feels like a small accomplishment, a reminder that they are moving forward. That progress fuels their confidence, and soon 10 minutes becomes 20, then 30. They realize they can handle more than they initially believed, and that realization inspires them to keep pushing forward. Stoic philosophy offers practical ways to nurture this confidence. One approach is self-reflection. At the end of each day, take time to acknowledge your small victories. Maybe you solved a problem at work, stayed calm in a stressful situation, or completed a task you'd been avoiding. These moments are not insignificant. They are the foundation of your growth. By recognizing them, you train your mind to see your potential rather than your limitations. Another Stoic principle that builds confidence is controlling your perspective. When the person in the public speaking club focused on her progress rather than her fear, she took ownership of her journey. Epictetus would call this a shift in control, focusing on what's within your power, not external outcomes. This shift is empowering because it places success squarely in your hands. Confidence in success isn't about perfection, it's about momentum. Each small achievement carries you forward, making the next step less intimidating. Whether you're building a skill, pursuing a goal, or simply navigating life's challenges, remember that confidence grows one action at a time. As the Stoics remind us, strength comes not from waiting for the perfect moment, but from taking the small, deliberate steps that lead us to our goals. When you reflect on your journey, consider the small wins that have brought you to where you are today. Each one is a testament to your resilience and capability. And with each new step, your confidence will continue to grow, proving to yourself that you are ready for whatever comes next. 5. Stay positive, bounce back. Failure is inevitable. No matter how well we prepare or how much effort we invest, Setbacks will find their way into our lives. Yet failure itself is not the problem. It's how we respond to it that defines our journey. When we treat failure as a stepping stone rather than a dead end, it becomes a powerful opportunity to learn, grow, and refine our path. A positive attitude, combined with the ability to rise quickly after setbacks, is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Stoicism embraces failure as a necessary part of progress. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This teaches us to see obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities to sharpen our skills and build resilience. Failure, from the Stoic perspective, is a teacher, offering lessons that success often cannot. A close friend of mine experienced this firsthand. He dreamed of starting his own business and poured his heart into his first venture. But things didn't go as planned. Poor timing and limited resources led to the business failing within its first year. I remember how disheartened he felt. But instead of giving up, he took a step back to analyze what went wrong. He identified weak points in his strategy, sought advice from mentors, and spent time learning from his mistakes. When he started his second business, he approached it with newfound clarity and focus. This time, it succeeded. His failure wasn't a setback. It was a foundation for his success. This principle applies to all areas of life. Think about someone preparing for a marathon. They might fail to complete a long-distance run during training. If they allow that failure to define them, they risk losing the motivation to continue. But if they assess what went wrong, perhaps their pacing was off or their nutrition was inadequate, they can adjust, adapt, and improve. The next time, they're better prepared, and the experience strengthens their confidence. Stoicism equips us with practical tools to handle failure constructively. One key practice is premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This involves visualizing potential setbacks before they happen, allowing us to mentally prepare and reduce their emotional impact. For example, when my friend was preparing to relaunch his business, he anticipated potential challenges like cash flow issues or market fluctuations. By planning for these possibilities, he remained calm and proactive when difficulties arose, turning potential crises into manageable hurdles. Another Stoic approach is reframing failure as part of the process. Epictetus often reminded his students to focus on what they can control, their efforts and responses, rather than external outcomes. This mindset shifts our attention from self-blame to problem-solving. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" we ask, "What can I learn from this?" A positive attitude is also crucial for bouncing back. Failure can feel personal, as if it's a reflection of our worth or abilities. But the truth is, failure is neutral. It's neither good nor bad until we assign it meaning. When we choose to see failure as feedback, we regain our power and maintain our motivation to move forward. Let's explore another relatable example. Imagine someone trying to improve their diet. They set a goal to eat healthier, but find themselves indulging in junk food after a stressful day. They could either spiral into guilt and abandon their goal, or they could reflect on what triggered the slip-up and plan for how to handle similar situations in the future. This simple shift from self-criticism to problem-solving keeps them on track and builds resilience. Stoicism teaches us to respond to failure with wisdom and action. When Marcus Aurelius faced challenges, he wrote about framing them as opportunities to practice virtues like patience, determination, and adaptability. For us, this means reframing failure not as a mark of inadequacy, but as a chance to grow stronger. The ability to bounce back isn't about avoiding failure altogether. It's about becoming someone who can rise again and again. With each setback, you gain insight, resilience, and clarity. Failure doesn't define you, how you respond to it does. By staying positive and taking thoughtful action, you transform failure into progress and continue moving toward your goals. 6. Embrace continuous growth. Growth isn't a destination, it's a journey that unfolds every day. Adopting a growth mindset is the cornerstone of embracing continuous growth. It begins with a belief that your abilities are not fixed but can be improved through effort and learning. This belief fuels curiosity, resilience, and the courage to step out of your comfort zone, even when the path ahead feels uncertain. It's not about being content with what you already know. It's about seeing how much more there is to learn. Stoicism aligns deeply with this mindset. The Stoics believed in constant self-improvement and the pursuit of wisdom. Epictetus reminded his students that no one is ever too wise to learn more, nor too inexperienced to begin. This perspective teaches us that growth is a lifelong process, requiring humility and the willingness to confront challenges that stretch our limits. A friend of mine in the tech industry exemplifies this perfectly. He works in a field that evolves at lightning speed, where staying still means falling behind. Instead of clinging to what he already knows, he constantly seeks out the latest trends, learns new programming languages, and experiments with innovative methods. Early on, he wasn't the most experienced in his team, but his eagerness to learn set him apart. Over time, his dedication paid off, and he became a respected expert in his field. His growth wasn't due to talent alone. It was his mindset, his belief that he could always improve, that propelled him forward. Contrast this with someone reluctant to change. You've probably heard people say, "I already know enough. Why bother learning something new?" While this attitude may feel comfortable, it limits potential. Imagine someone who refuses to learn new skills at work because they feel their current knowledge is sufficient. Over time, they might find themselves outpaced by colleagues who embrace growth. Their fear of stepping out of their comfort zone becomes the very thing that holds them back. This resistance to growth often comes from a fear of failure or a belief that change is too difficult. But growth isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control: our actions, our mindset, and our willingness to adapt. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of facing challenges head-on, seeing them as opportunities to strengthen our character. To the Stoics, staying stagnant wasn't an option because life itself is in constant motion. Let's take a broader example. Imagine someone who wants to learn a new language but feels overwhelmed by the effort required. They might tell themselves, "I'm too old to learn," or "It's not worth the hassle." Yet, if they approached it with a growth mindset, focusing on small, consistent steps like learning a few words each day, they'd soon find themselves making progress. Each step, no matter how small, adds up over time, breaking down the barriers of fear and doubt. Stoicism offers practical tools for cultivating this mindset. One is to approach learning with humility. Epictetus advised students to accept that they don't know everything and to view each day as an opportunity to grow wiser. Another is to embrace discomfort. Growth often requires stepping into the unknown, which can feel intimidating. But as Marcus Aurelius noted, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the challenges you face are the very paths to improvement. To embrace continuous growth, you must also redefine success. It's not about reaching a final goal. It's about the effort you put into learning and adapting every day. My friend in tech didn't become an expert overnight. His success came from consistently putting in the work, even when it felt difficult or uncertain. His mindset wasn't focused on being the best, it was focused on becoming better. When you reflect on your growth, ask yourself, are you open to change, or are you clinging to what feels comfortable? True growth requires curiosity, effort, and the courage to step into the unknown. It's not about knowing everything today, it's about being willing to learn a little more each day. And with each new skill and each new experience, you become a stronger, wiser version of yourself. As the Stoics teach, life is a journey of continuous self-improvement. Whether you're learning a new skill, embracing a new challenge, or simply striving to be a better person than you were yesterday, the key is to keep moving forward. Growth doesn't happen in leaps. It happens in the small, deliberate steps you take every day. Life isn't about achieving perfection in one grand moment. It's about the steady, deliberate steps we take every day. The principles we've explored, recognizing small wins, embracing the journey, building confidence, learning from failure, and fostering continuous growth, are more than just ideas. They are tools to guide you toward a better, stronger version of yourself. The wisdom of Stoic philosophy reminds us that progress lies in our hands. Each day offers a chance to act with intention, to focus on what we can control, and to improve by even the smallest margin. Whether you're navigating a career challenge, pursuing personal growth, or simply trying to live a more fulfilling life, These lessons can be your compass. Start where you are. Celebrate the small victories, no matter how insignificant they might seem. Find joy in the process, even when the path feels uncertain. Learn to view failure not as an end, but as a beginning, a chance to adapt and grow stronger. And most importantly, cultivate a mindset that welcomes learning and challenges, knowing that the best version of yourself is always within reach. I encourage you to take these lessons and put them into practice every day. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but with patience and consistency, you will see remarkable changes over time. Your story is still being written, and every effort you make today shapes the person you will become tomorrow. Share your journey with us in the comments below. What small wins have you celebrated? What lessons have you learned from failure? Your experiences could inspire others to take their first steps toward growth and resilience. Together, let's build a community that empowers one another to improve, 1% at a time.